If you have been using AI tools, especially around coding, a common problem you must face is just running out of tokens. We received a ton of concerns around this topic from our episode on making your own personal website. To address those concerns, we've come up with 4 strategies that you could use to really extend your tokens and make them work for you. These strategies aren't really limited to coding, but are truly applicable for any generative AI tool that you might use. This is the Build Your Own App series, and without any further ado, let's jump in. So we have 4 strategies in mind that Akshansh is going to walk us through here today. So let's dive into the first one here.
So the first one, what we're going to use is this website's screenshot. And rather than putting it directly in bold, we are going to put the screenshot in Claude. What Claude is great at is copying stuff and like replicating stuff. It is, let's say, if you have a business, you want to sell clothes, you want to sell something locally, you can use this, right? So copy and paste. Simple, right? React code for this. Let Claude build our boilerplate, and then what we are going to do is simply use the code that Claude gives us, copy it and paste it on our board, which will give board a really nice start for our project, and it can understand, like we can skip through all the initial iterations of clearly pointing out what kind of color you want, what and what not. If you can see, then you're going to put it on forward. You all have to, brings us to point C. Rather than saying something like, can you make my site like below code? Rather than this, we'll do something like this and this, triple quotes, and then just paste your code in this. What this does is Bolt, whenever goes and reads through your prompts, it has to waste some tokens to read the words. If I were to write, hello, hi, my name is this and that, so Bolt will spend some time and tokens in reading whatever you're given. Each word will cost you some tokens. So our target in this video is going to optimize for using the least words possible so that Bolt doesn't have to spend too much time trying to understand what you want. And we'll just build web app for different services and to function. Let's go with function.
Yeah, and to reiterate, we'll be sharing 4 strategies here today. The first 2 are really just strategies that anybody could use. You don't actually need to be a developer or come from a tech background. The last 2, however, I will admit, are more suited for people that are trying to learn web development. You don't have to be an expert on it, but they are somewhat more primed for people that have at least a basic understanding of how this stuff works. But the first 2 are so simple that really anybody that wants to use this can use.
I think we've covered the first one where I just used a simple Claude to generate a boilerplate for me and then pasted that code over here, asked it to do the building part. That you can see we have just given one prompt and we have most of our project already. Now, when we come to the second point, I have already inculcated in this, but let me repeat it. Use as little words as possible, as concise as possible. So if we were to add 2 Python numbers, right? So rather than saying, I was wondering if you could possibly help me understand how to make a function that could add 2 numbers, something as long as this is just going to waste your tokens, like I said before. So rather just go very specific, show me addition of 2 Python numbers or create function to add 2 numbers. Be as specific and as lazy with your words possible. Just point out what you need. So we have some issues over here. Rather than specifying everything, I could just write fixed, or even better alternative would have been, we can just copy the error, paste it in the chat box and just throw the error. Don't have to write, can you please fix this error? Can you please fix that? You don't have to mention those words. We're just going to do that, just looking at the errors. I think the error did persist. We're just going to copy this whole thing. I don't need to put this over there because this is basically the chat. And this is the code piece which Bolt can see. And this is just for us to see if we were to edit it. But I'm just going to copy this, paste this.
Yeah, and additionally, in this case, more specifically, I think it's just looking for an about page that doesn't exist. We could have also just asked it to like not worry about it for now or just remove about page. That would have also worked. So it just kind of helps to keep an eye out for what it is that the error actually is that that you're trying to fix, and if it's even worth your while trying to fix that. Because now if I'm a business, if I'm trying to make this, and if it's some fringe common like a last leg web page within my website that probably many people won't go to on the starting point, maybe don't worry about it just yet. Like just park it, just be like, don't worry about it. And then, we can worry about resolving it once everything else is built out. So bottom up approach here works really well, where you cover all your bases first and then you kind of level up piece by piece. Yeah, like it's getting into all of the nitty-gritties that it found, including every small little button that was there on that page. For now, you can just say remove any components that are giving errors.
Let's just try to debug this error. What it says is this comma shouldn't be there probably. It expects a comma. In line number 9, corporate page. Let's go over there. For the ones who are technically enthusiastic and want to do this, I think they'll have some fun at doing this debugging. I'm just replacing.
I know what it is. Remove the apostrophe on the teams. That's the error.
We're done. Now we're done. Yeah. So what Bolt was struggling with? Yeah, I understood what you were saying. So Bolt was struggling with Teams apostrophe. Now you guys see this apostrophe. So what Bolt is really bad at is using double quotes. All its code, it uses a single quotes to write strings. String is this basic text. Whenever it encounters an apostrophe, it thinks that the text has already ended and the rest of the piece will become a part of the code, which we do not want to happen. What I did is just I added these double quotes at the end. So now this will work as a string, the entire thing, instead of ending at this single quote. This should fix the error. Below. There we go. And it's amazing. Like it's literally awesome, if I could say. What do you think?
I did a great job.
So I would say this menu, man, you can add to cart and stuff. Put some images from web, go back to home, about, menu, plans, blog, contact. That's simple. We literally covered like the whole thing in 5 minutes, I would say. Are you happy with this outcome?
Yeah, no, this is great.
Let's say what I did right now was pretty technical, right? You have to know that you have to put double quotes or single quotes. I'll just revert back the changes that I made. I'm sorry for the non-technical ones that Bolt is not performing up to the mark. Let's just ask Bolt to use double quotes instead of single. There you go.
If you see it, it's very easy to figure out what's happening and just not get tripped up by it. Yeah, that was a good demo there. I think that was really helpful.
Forward slashes. Bolt has some pre-defined forward slashes. What is this? These. Slash clear would clear the entire chat box rather than writing, can you please clear the entire chat box? Slash new would create the entire project start over from scratch, which we are going to do just because we have enough tokens to waste. I'll help you start a new project with the existing file. It will keep the same project files and start over the entire project. It's mostly when you're struggling with your database and all that. That's where you can actually use it. Slash help will help you figure out all the other commands and possible outcomes that Bolt can give. Sorry, it's going to point you that these are the 4 things that you can do. The most important part was the concise and iteration thing where you have to use as least words as possible. Like now I was to say, I don't like the color scheme. Change color key or just change colors and simple, not change color of the UI on the site. You don't have to mention that, won't understand. Like change color, create new logo.
It actually struggles with logos from what I've seen. So that's actually curious.
Yeah, it uses your
Yeah, it doesn't do the best job. Yeah.
keep. In fact, we know what's simpler. Rather than writing create a simple UI or something, you just write simpler. And it should work. See, it caught the word and understood that we are trying to simplify the design. Simplify design with new color scheme. I did not mention scheme. I did not mention simpler design or anything. I just wrote simpler, create new logo, change colors. It just does the understanding part. You don't have to give it the full context, okay? You just give orders in single words and that would be enough for it to understand.
So we could have actually just written that, but it did that for us. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. It did actually do the logo as well. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. You can ask it to design a logo specifically according to your needs as well. So if you were to like include a house logo, house as logo, that just that like makes the job so much easier because now like unlike the previous video, we are just asking you to talk less or command less. Just do little, be lazier, and you'll be sorted. That's pretty much it. Probably in the next iterations of our segment, we'll start off with something that includes database. Right now, if you see the code, all this data, all this images is like pre-coded. So there's been a ID, a name, a description, a price, and an image. They're going to teach you guys how to remove this from the entire code and just put it on database and then fetch it from database directly, which is going to be again easy. So looking forward.
If you enjoyed that, consider subscribing. It really makes our day and makes all of our effort worth it. Catch you all in the next one. New episodes very, very soon.